Yeah, I'm eating, so there's no camera.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
One light. That's
Oh, what are you eating?
What's that?
What are you eating?
Right now, I'm eating lemon flavored tortilla or lime flavored Tostitos and salsa.
Nice.
Oh.
Peter, why don't you drink in here? Put
I
it in
got
your
my
coffee.
He's on his own schedule.
I'm wearing a sombrero too.
Okay, Paco.
Hey, Maggie,
Yeah,
when was the last REMC meeting?
that was June 18th.
Okay. I just didn't know whether the last LEPC meeting was just before that or just after it, but it was after. Okay.
No, the LEPC meeting seemed to be a month after our meetings here.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
all right. Mike, I don't know if you want to call the meeting to order officially, or if you want Jen to take over since you're eating.
Go ahead, I'll keep eating.
Nice.
If you're muted, Jan.
I thought I unmuted there.
There you go.
We'll call the meeting to order at 5:32. We'll start with the voting roll call, Maggie.
Yep. So since there's so few people here, I'll just have everyone go around the room, say their name and the town that they're representing or organization that they're representing. So let's start with the folks here in person to my right.
Peter Mantell, EMC for Castleton.
So,
Oh, you want me to do that?
yeah,
Okay.
go down the line. Yeah.
Eric Pulver, Department of Health, Emergency Preparedness.
Bill Lovett, EMD for the city of Rutland.
All right, and then we'll move to folks online. So let's start with Tom.
Yeah, Tom Johnson, EMD, Danby.
All right, perfect. Bob, Case.
Yep. Bob Morlino, EMD for the town of Paula and LEPC chair.
All right, thanks, Bob Merlino. How about Bob Case?
Bob Case, EMC at Chittenden.
Thank you. Let's see, Lindsay.
Lindsay Moran, the Community Disaster Program Manager for Southern Vermont for the American Red Cross.
Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you for joining us after we took that long course this morning.
No worries.
Let's see, who else do I have to call here? Bill Jones. I basically did half of it for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bill Jones with Vermont Emergency Management.
All right, and Mike.
Mike Wetmore.
Jones, EMD for Castleton, and Bill, you're still on that damn beach.
And Mike, yeah, sorry, the other Mike. I forgot there were two Mikes, so the other Mike.
Mike Wetmore, EMC, Hubbardton.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And if I could, before we move things back to Jan, I would like us to hold a moment of silence for Dave Atherton. He passed away this past Monday. He was the previous chair of the REMC and has been a great help to many towns in our region besides. So just let's sit for a moment of silence, please. Okay, Jan, back to you.
Okay, so do we have a quorum tonight?
Let's see. One. I don't think so. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think we're just short.
Just short, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
11.
Did someone ask a question?
No, just asking what quorum was.
Okay. Okay, you have the agenda in front of you that Maggie sent out. Are there any additions anyone would like to add to the agenda?
I have a modification.
Okay.
So item number 7, sub item C, the brainstorm, we will have to remove that from the agenda.
All right. If all else, we'll accept the, we can still accept it by consensus, can't we?
Yes, we can. Just
Okay.
have everyone saying aye or raising their hand.
All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, the agenda is approved by consensus. You still eating, Mike, or,
Oh, you're muted though, Mike.
I keep having to switch back and forth the screens. So no, I'm good now.
okay, we're up to the minutes.
Okay, so have a motion to approve the minutes of June 18th as presented.
So moved. Tom
Second.
Johnson.
Second, Peter.
I mean, technically we can't do motions, but I
That's all right.
appreciate the spirit.
Sorry, we're in mode, we're in mode.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It was moved and seconded. You got that, Maggie?
Yeah, except we can't do motions because we don't have a quorum, so it's fine.
Oh, that's right, we know. So, yep. All right, so what's that? We still have to do all in favor of that, even though there's not a real
Yes,
motion?
please. Mhm.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes of June 18th as presented, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Consensus says the minutes are approved. And now open to the public. Is there anybody in the room there, Maggie?
Not besides the usual folks.
Okay, and nobody's on Zoom? That's
I
public?
think everyone who is on Zoom, who is not part of a town, is a non-voting member.
So nothing from open to the public. So now it's the REMC representative reports. Statewide Local Emergency Planning Commission Rep Bob Morlino.
Yes, hi, everyone. So we had an LEPC meeting on July 15th. We had 85 attendees. Again, a pretty big attendance, which we're really grateful about. And at that meeting, we reviewed the LEPC emergency plan draft. So every LEPC, and we have one here for the state, has to have an emergency plan. So we put that together. We reviewed it on July 15th and approved it at the LEPC level. It will now go to the CERC, the State Emergency Response Committee. And that should be happening in the next month, and that'll get approved. Once it's approved, I'll send a copy to everyone on the REMC so you'd have your own copy. At the Vermont Emergency Preparedness Conference, I presented the update on the LEPC for the state of Vermont. I don't know how many people we had there, maybe 20 people. You were
20, 25, maybe 30.
Yeah, 20, 25 people. So it was good, a good crowd there. And just the only other thing, since July, since our June meeting, part of what the LEPC is responsible for is doing exercises. And we do exercises in a variety of ways, but one of the ways is through the Vermont Hazardous Material Response Team. And we ran an exercise this past weekend in Rutland City at the Arctic Ice Facility. We were there for about 3 hours, and we exercised a anhydrous ammonia leak there. So it was a great exercise. The Hazardous Material Response Team does at least a couple of those a year. We have a number of sites in the state of Vermont that use anhydrous ammonia as a refrigerant. But what's really helpful in these exercises is the facility gets to exercise their plan and also get to understand how the team works and how it operates if they have an emergency. So that interaction is extremely important and helpful when a real emergency arises. The other thing, the other activity that the LEPC did prior to the exercise was to review the emergency plan for that site. And we reviewed it, made some minor changes, and they now have a more updated emergency plan. Bill, you should get a copy of that plan. I can have them send it to you. You should have that for the Rutland City Fire Department.
Yeah. Did my folks end up actually making it down there?
No, unfortunately not. Whenever we do these exercises, we always invite the local fire department, since in fact, it's not only just to invite them, it's because they're going to be the first ones on the scene. If there was a large anhydrous ammonia leak at that location, they would have called 911, and the first responders to show up would be the the police department probably as well, but the fire department would show up, and they would be the incident commander. The lead on that fire department would be the incident commander, and would continue being the incident commander even after the hazardous material response team showed up. The hazmat team does not take over the incident command. That still is maintained by the local fire department. So we like to get them involved, so they understand how we operate and we work together with the facility. So that was the exercise that we ran last week. I think next month we'll be doing an exercise with, I believe it's Cabot Cheese. So they also have, I think they also have anhydrous ammonia as a refrigerant in their facility. So we'll be doing another one of those next week. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody have any
Also,
questions?
I have another meeting. We're doing a shelter training tonight here. That's why I'm at the Paula EOC. So I'll be on for another 15 minutes, and then I have to bow out.
Well, thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for Bob?
Yeah, Bob, real quick, I think as you keep doing these exercises, like the Cabot coming up, do you involve the emergency preparedness specialist from the Department of Health at all in those?
We don't, but we certainly can invite you. No problem. If you want to be invited to those exercises, they're always on a weekend, could be a Saturday or a Sunday, but we're more than happy to invite you if you'd like to come.
Yeah, I was just thinking the sort of local one. So in that case, it's probably like going to be the Morrisville office for Cabot. I guess I should ask where you're doing it. But I'm thinking more along the lines of the local one, because like if you're not doing them in Rutland County, it wouldn't be me supporting those kind of things. But chemicals are something that we do kind of work on with Department of Health. So.
Is there I don't know who all of those people are. Is there a central person we can send an invite to and they could send it out to the local person?
Yeah. For right now, let's just make me that. So since we have a connection, so just send it to me, and then wherever it is, I will forward it on to my counterpart in that area.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Bob.
Yes, you're welcome, Mike.
Have fun with your sheltering training.
Yeah, thanks.
So in the chat, I just want to flag real quick, Lindsay Mooring sent a comment that the Red Cross would also love to join you on a few of those exercises. And she's asking who is partaking in the shelter exercise, I assume, or the training, which I assume is the one in Pollock tonight.
Is the question who is involved in the training tonight?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, that's just our shelter team, and we have people who have volunteered to be shelter staff, and we have a few people coming in, and we're just reviewing our procedures.
Awesome. I would love to come just watch you guys, because we may learn a few things from you guys one of these days. If the next time you do it, if you want to let me know.
Oh, I think, I don't know how much you'll learn from us. We learn a lot from the Red Cross.
I run around like a chicken with my head cut off. Don't let anybody lie to you.
Then that we're going to be taking part in the binary blizzard and opening up our shelter that night. So I don't know what you're doing on October 22nd, but you're welcome to come here.
Yeah, the last I heard, it's Paula and Brandon that are participating, and I think that's about it.
I will be in the EOC, so I look forward to seeing what you got.
Great.
Look at that, you get visitors too. Okay, and any more questions for Bob? Hearing nothing, the next item on the agenda is the Thero Spur, and that's Chief Mantello.
I got nothing to report because people don't meet.
All right, how about next thing is Integrated Planning and Preparedness Workshop. Representative is Tom Johnston.
Yeah, hi there. I honestly don't know if there has been any meetings. If there have been, I don't know if I'm receiving notification. So if someone could shed some light on that to me.
Yeah, so typically the IPPW is held in the spring. I believe this year it was held in June, and I think tried to send you an email and calendar invite to it. And it ended up being quite different this time around. So beforehand we would break off into little subgroups and ask questions and get our own schedules together and then coordinate in a second workshop. But this year it was one longer session, and we had folks from, different state agencies there who wouldn't have been there in the past. So it was done very differently, and I essentially ended up taking your spot, Tom. I'm sorry I didn't communicate properly with you. I'll be sure that happens next time. But yeah, for at least until the next 6 months or so, probably even a little bit longer, you're in the clear in terms of meetings.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you covering for me.
Yeah, no problem.
A good team player. That's the
All
end of my
right.
report.
I like the short ones. That's good. All right. Next up is the REMC organizational tasks. First thing is the voting membership reappointments. Maggie, you're going to speak on this one?
Yep, I'll take over from here. And I just remembered yet again, I haven't been running through the slides. Not that they're really necessary, but so the voting membership reappointments, so this is just a reminder that the time period for that is coming around the corner. So we follow the federal fiscal year, which means the end of this current fiscal year is September 30th. So when the clock rolls over, typically at the end of October, I send out those forms you might recall, where I have you list the two names of the two members, and sign off on each other's proxies. Now, I know that for the local emergency management plan, one of the new changes this year was providing the names and titles of your REMC members. And what I've noticed as LEMPs have come in is that some of the names for some of the towns are different than what I have in my records from when we did this process last year. So that's why I want to do this again, even though it's a new thing to the LEMP. It's not meant to be repetitive. I just want to double check and see if anything's changed over the past year that would account for some of these differences in membership that I'm seeing. So that being said, you guys have seen these forms before, pretty straightforward. Just make sure within the month of November, most likely, I'll be asking folks to take the form in front of their select board and get reappointed. And if we can get that done before our next meeting on December 10th, and that would be great. So we have everyone all finalized and we're good to go for the new fiscal year. Does anyone have any questions related to that? All right, sounds good. And then the scoping for a new chair. So Mike has had a lot on his shoulders in Castleton, and understandably he hasn't been able to make it to some of our meetings here. So I think it would be fair to ask the committee, at least those of us who are present, if anyone would be willing to take his position over, assuming you're okay with that, Mike. I just realized I never talked to you about this.
Yeah, no, I'm good with
You're
it.
being thrown out.
We're having a coup right now.
So, I will say I recognize that the current pool that's here is pretty small, and most of you are already serving positions. That said, we're not voting on anyone today. I'm just throwing it out there as this is a vacancy that is coming up. And so I'll also send out the reminder through email. Hopefully, maybe we'll have folks who will join us next time, who might be willing to take the role on. But I just wanted to flag that for folks that it is coming up. So the next meeting, when we do all of our annual re-elections, we'll need to have someone to vote for chair, so.
Well, I'll just put my hand in, so I'll take over and keep it in Castleton. Mike, is that all right?
Absolutely.
So
That was the
it's
easiest.
pretty easy. It's not that.
So are you saying you want to be both the chair and the Thyra SBR rep?
The fire, I don't know who these people are. They never talk to me. I have no idea who they are, what they do.
Yeah, so the Thyra, the past couple of years, they haven't really involved the towns in that. So, but it is an established position in our bylaws that we have to have. So for now, it's kind of like a
How
placeholder.
many times the chair have to meet?
So the chair, at every
Twice a
REC
year?
every REMC meeting, preferably if the chair can. And also a couple of weeks beforehand, I emailed Jan and Mike saying like, hey, can we just take 15 minutes to look at the agenda real quick? And that's pretty much it. The only other duties is during the meetings,
Yeah, I can.
yeah,
How many meetings? You said 2 for the annual meetings.
no, four,
Four, yeah, okay.
once a quarter.
Sounds like it's about 10 hours a year.
That's fine.
Okay,
Amidst all that stuff, I can handle.
all right. So we'll
I
keep,
got
Maggie?
yeah, yeah, Mike.
So I'm gonna be going back doing stuff with the fire department on Wednesday night, so it's gonna be hard for me to make 5:30 meetings because they meet at 6. So in October, I'm going back there, so I will be even less available at that point.
Got it. Thank you for letting us know. And in terms of proxy, as long as you guys renew your proxy with each other, then that's fine. Castleton will always have 2 votes if Peter's here, so that works out just fine. All right, so we'll keep Peter in mind for the elections next time. See if anyone else throws their hat into the ring.
Bill does. Huh? Don't you get it.
Okay, and now moving on to announcements. So one of these items has already been stricken off, so it'll be a little shorter than I anticipated, but that's all right. So we now have a dedicated slot in our meeting agenda to talk about the work that the partnership with the REMC and the COAD and how that's going. So if you recall from some of my emails, we had our first facilitated discussion with our first sub-region. So that was folks in the Northeast in June. It was held at Grange Hall in Chittenden. We had the towns of Chittenden, Brandon, Pittsford, and Killington participate. Mendon was supposed to be a part of that group. Unfortunately, last minute, everyone had to pull out. So in the future, we anticipate them being with the central group here. So Rutland City, Proctor. It's already a big enough group, but I couldn't think of a better place to put you guys. So we had that first discussion on June 25th. And then about a month later after that, I sent out the after action report with initial findings based on the capabilities that we had. So that was sent through email. If you want a copy of that, I can always send out another email or print one out here at the office. You just let me know. And so our next discussion, before I dive into the after action report findings, I just want to remind folks that the next discussion is the Northwest region. It's been in the works for a little while now. It's scheduled for October 15th, so next month. It'll be in Castleton at the current rec center, former village school, from 10 to 1. And we have the towns of Benson, Fairhaven, Hubbardton, Sudbury. No, not
They're part
Bolton.
of ours, right?
Yeah. And the south.
Eric, help me out here. We got
Castleton.
Or-
Castleton and West Haven. Yes, okay, those were the other 2. So 6 groups, and we got 4 towns completely confirmed at this point. So it'll be a pretty good participation there. And yeah, we will kind of rinse and repeat, where about a month after the fact, our little subcommittee that we've had going on here will meet and we'll digest the results and we'll keep you guys informed as to what's going on there. So I would think at this point, we would probably have these discussions once every 3 months. Is that what we decided, Eric?
Yep.
So when you guys are in the queue, we'll let you know, for your towns, for your sub-region here.
Because we will request, when we get to your sub-region, we would like to have somebody from that sub-region participate in the 3 planning meetings we're gonna have for that sub-region. So the next one will be southwest-ish, which will be the Pulteney's, Middletown Springs, et cetera. Yeah, right up there.
Yeah,
Or red one,
right
up there.
there. Yeah, and losing her was a big loss.
So, yeah, so as we go, so what we're doing is basically a bullseye mode. So we're gonna go out the outside and then we're gonna hit that bullseye in the center with Rutland City and the like, because that'll be a big one for us. So, yeah, so you can kind of know when you're coming up. So right now we're obviously in blue, and we'll be going to red and then pink and then purple. So put it on your calendars, roughly every 3 months.
Yep, so for folks who want a translation, that would be, for the red group, that'd be January of 26. For the pink group, that would be April of 26. For the purple group, that would be July, and then we might push out Rutland City a little bit, depending on how much extra work we need for that.
Yeah, well, that one's gonna take a lot of planning. Obviously, we'll be talking with Bill quite heavily with that one. So, yeah, so probably, we'll figure out that exact timing next year. We don't have to necessarily figure that out.
Yeah, but just know that those are the target months, for the different subregions. So keep that in mind. We'll try to give you plenty of notice when we know the exact date. My rule of thumb has been trying to give the towns 2 months in advance to register. So that way, if you have to clear your schedules for work that day or whatever, you can go about doing so. So that's where we're at with that. And so I guess I'll check in really quick. Any questions before I move on to the findings from our discussion in June? Okay, perfect. So there were some key trends that emerged during that conversation. So we had it like a tabletop, but without the formal FEMA evaluators. So we had the towns in their different groups, and we went through the 2 modules. And thanks to everyone's feedback, we now have a 3rd module that we've added where the towns are going to have more of a chance to collaborate with each other about potential ways to coordinate and collaborate during a disaster response. That was something that was missing a little more than we would have liked the first time around, and we really want to bring that element to the forefront. So that being said, we did find some good trends in the conversations that we had. So I want to preface this by saying that the green group, I would say, is generally the towns that are stronger in the region with representation and with being active in the emergency management sphere. I say generally. So they are setting things kind of high in terms of the baseline, and we'll see essentially if everyone else meets that level or not. But of some of the topics that we found, so a lot of the towns have strong, already well-established partnerships, whether that's with Kamuta's Market in Pittsburgh or with Mountaintop Inn in Chittenden. The towns already have a solid relationship. They've had experiences in the past where they've coordinated with these local organizations to provide food or to provide sheltering. So those relationships are there, which is good. But there are no formal, it's not formalized in an MOU. It's not written down anywhere. Which is fine for what we currently have. But if you think long-term about, folks who might come into the towns after that, if anyone takes your place, they may not know that that exists. So that could potentially be a problem. And so having things written down was one of the big takeaways of the meeting. I remember when I was talking with Anne and the folks in Pittsburgh that they were like, yeah, we have a really good idea of what to do. We just don't have a record of it anywhere. So if you got 2 or 3 people in the bench who are out for whatever reason, then you're out of luck. So that's definitely a pitfall that we want to try to avoid. But the fact that those partnerships are there and strong is a good sign. And there are some opportunities to expand that. I know Killington was saying that they could probably reach out to some more folks. I wasn't in the Killington group, so I don't quite remember the details, but yeah. So another thing that we found is that some of our populations here in the region are underserved. So one of the gaps that we ran into when we did the debrief was that so Brandon and Killington in particular, they have more of those touristy seasonal populations, folks who come through on a shorter term basis instead of living full time. And so if you used your traditional means of trying to communicate with the public to say that, you know, there's a big storm coming through or something going on, the tourists might not necessarily know where to get that information, or if there's anything going on at all, really. So that's a consideration that we decided to put in the parking lot for future consideration. We also learned that, like I said, because this group is some of the stronger players, we have a solid level of knowledge. We have folks who have a lot of experience and a good skill set, so they know how to do everything short of formally opening the EOC, but they essentially do the EOC functions anyway. And so everything typically goes pretty smooth in the response phase, but again, it's something that's not necessarily captured. So some towns had templates for documentation of damages for, you know, public assistance reimbursement. Other towns did not. And so just another example of how having a formalized structure somewhere and exercising it once in a while is something that builds in that muscle memory for folks and is something that's going to help the town in the long term with the succession and the longevity there. And then the final trend, no big surprise here, communication during power outages remains a challenge. So Pittsford, I remember they actually put out signs on the road, like they have a couple of like road signs that they can put out, so that's kind of neat. But I think radio is really going to be the big gap filler here. So I know that in Chittenden they have Bob Case as the certified ham operator there. And there's probably plenty more in the region that I'm not aware of. So if we could track those folks down, maybe have a regional session where we talk about, you know, what it is and how it can be used, and we start bringing that to the forefront here, we can start working on those alternative communication plans that I've had on the back burner for 2 years now.
If I may, Maggie.
Sure.
Some positive news out of that. So there was a program out of VEM that VEM was running called the RACES program. VEM did decide that that was something they could no longer support. And so they kind of were going to let that go. And VDH heard about that, and they actually are incorporating roughly 100 of the 140 operators into the Medical Reserve Corps. And so we're actually going to have a specific RACES ham radio operation group within the Medical Reserve Corps. So they'll be spread out across the state. We already have a lot of that sort of developed within the hospitals and within the Department of Health offices. But that will be another avenue for us to sort of talk about ham radio operation. And I have not heard yet what operators we have in Rutland County yet, but that will be coming soon. Our state coordinator is working on making sure everything is kind of set up and ready to go. So that'll be an option that we can certainly look at employing here soon. I still don't have a timeline for you yet.
That'd be something that we could get through the VM watch officer.
Theoretically, yeah. So I think they're working on sort of what are the triggers and what are the deployment, SOPs for that. But it would be like if you would need the MRC for anything else. Call the watch officer, say, hey, we need MRC support. They'll contact the Department of Health, and then we'll find out through that, and then we'll work on, what do we need to do to deploy that unit. So I think so they're still working on all of that, but it's coming.
All right, yeah, thank you for that addition, Eric.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
I had a question for Eric. Excuse me. So if a local medical center like ours in Castleton, the health center, if there was an emergency and they didn't have staffing, do they have the ability to reach out to the Reserve Medical Corps by themselves, or is it they have to go through some process?
they would have to go through the same process. And it's a little bit different in that they'll have to probably, they could go through the Vermont Healthcare Emergency Preparedness Coalition, or VHEPC. That is sort of our coalition of all of those hospitals, EMS, long-term care facilities, etc. But it would probably be the same process. They would let you know, and then go through the watch officer to connect with Department of Health.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you have other questions, please do. If you're talking with them, please send them my way, and I can certainly have a conversation with them.
Yeah, therefore, because I'm not even sure if they're aware of it. That's why I want to find out.
Yeah, I would love to have talk with them about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be good to know. So we have a couple of those community health centers throughout the region. I don't think Bob is on anymore, but there's one in Pollitt. I think
One in Brandon,
one in Brandon. Yep. So
Rutland, of course, and then Castleton.
Castleton. Yep.
That's it now.
yeah, I think that is it. So but anyways, so yeah, with these findings that we have, so the subcommittee that we've had, which has been myself, Eric, Jan, and a couple of other folks intermittently, Bill Jones as well. So we've been starting to digest these and thinking about
You said Bill Jones, and he's like, what?
Yeah.
oh, that's right, because he has, okay. So we've been thinking that we're going to need additional meetings to start thinking about digesting these findings and applying them. And I'm actually going to pass off the mic to Eric at this point because he does a better job explaining these things than I do. So Eric, take it away.
Oh, Maggie, you do fantastic. So a little bit of context for you all. When we were planning out these sub-region facilitated discussions, although I will say Maggie is in HCEP right now, so we can actually hopefully start saying tabletops.
No, we can't.
Oh, okay, never mind. Facilitated discussions. What we were doing was basically meeting every week and sort of going through it, which made sense for the first one because we had to plan the entire thing, write up a situation manual, figure out what was going on. But as we have now moved over to the second one, we kind of have all of that stuff established. And so we didn't have to meet, as often or every week. So we have moved the planning into more of an HCEP style, where we'll have an initial planning meeting, a midterm, and then a final planning meeting beforehand. So it's only 3 planning meetings for the tabletops, or excuse me, facilitated discussions. And but what that does do is it sort of opens up a need to start talking about what do we actually do with the information, with the, especially the qualitative information that we're getting from these tabletops. What are towns saying to each other? What are they doing? How are they collaborating? And how can we take that, up to that regional level so that all towns can sort of be able to learn outside of just, an after action report. So one of the things that we kind of have talked about is forming what we kind of are calling as an advisory group or some sort of advisory subcommittee or something like that within the structures we already have. We don't want to create a bunch of extra things. So we were kind of thinking about possibly creating a subcommittee of the REMC that's going to work on that sort of high level strategy and figure out taking a bunch of information in, either from an emergency preparedness community needs assessment, similar to the one sort of I piloted last year, to the integrated preparedness plans from, VEM, and also these sub-region conversations, and figuring out what are the priorities that the region has for preparedness, response, and recovery efforts. So that way we're all kind of moving together. And so this is kind of where we're at. It's not going to be super big heavy lift. It's going to be mainly just as Maggie has put up here on the slides. It's going to be some monthly meetings. I think we were kind of thinking a frequency would be one meeting a month to kind of go over this. Maybe a little bit, a couple of extra ones in the very beginning just to get everything set up and moving. But after that, it should be relatively a light lift for you all. And yeah, we were really looking at hopefully bringing a representative from each sub-region. So that way we can kind of get a good local idea from everybody around Rutland County. So that's kind of where we're at. We're thinking about that. I do want to ask Bill there, if he has talked with BEM about any sort of logistical pieces about doing this within the REMC.
We are perfectly fine as long as we stay within the facilitated discussions.
Perfect. So I gotta stop accidentally saying tabletop.
So what, interrupt for saying, what's the big deal with the tabletop thing?
Tabletop
What's that
exercise, chief, changes everything. It puts more of a responsibility onto Maggie. Anything above a facilitated discussion has to have complete documentation. And I'm sure Maggie can explain a lot better than I can, but there's a series of paperworks. The stuff that Maggie's doing now, but it has to just go to the next level.
So not just to clarify, not to say that we're not doing documentation right now. Obviously, I've sent out an after action report. I've been keeping meeting notes of our little subcommittee meetings here. It would have to meet certain standards. Like Bill said, it'd have to go up a step. And we would have to hire formal evaluators, which we haven't done for these. It's just myself, Bill, Eric, and a couple of other folks that have taken the torch on that so far. So that's like the nuance there is essentially we're not making it formal so that way we don't have to meet all these extra frivolous steps.
Okay.
For what we're really trying to do. Like it's not necessary.
Okay.
Okay, and I was going to do a general ask and see if anyone in the room would be interested in being part of this committee, but we have a smaller crowd tonight. Maybe if we just secure the folks who are here with the regions.
And we could do that. I mean, I think we have roughly, we've got 1, 2,
8, 9 people.
Jan, technically Bob. Fortunately, Bob Morlino dropped out.
Yep.
We would have at least 3 subregions right now, so.
Actually, we have Clarendon here, so that's technically another one. We have 4, I think, actually.
So yeah, so basically this is a little bit of an ask, would you do it, and a little bit of a nudge, help with us. So we got.
Excellent.
Yeah, we have Peter, so that's 1. Bill, what's your thoughts?
Come on, Bill.
Or you don't have to do it. You can say, hey, I want to.
I want to talk to Danny because I'm trying to start transitioning.
Yeah, he needs
the
to
next
get
role.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I got to start passing some stuff out because I don't have that much time left.
Yeah, that's true. So, if you could just ask him, obviously connect with Maggie and plug that one. I don't want to say Jan's name because I don't want her to yell at me because I'm going to volunteer for something. But
look out, Jan! Run!
Yeah, it's a shame. Doesn't know what's going on.
But Jan, what is your thoughts on joining an advisory subcommittee?
I would like to talk to folks in every town that's part of that subcommittee to see if anyone else was interested.
Okay, that's a good point.
Is there something that we have like a briefing of what you guys are expecting, just so when I introduce this to them tomorrow morning, I can give them some answers?
We could certainly put something together. We don't have anything set up right now. This was a little bit of like, this is our thoughts.
Okay.
What's the interest? Sounds like there might be some interests, and so we haven't got quite that far yet.
Okay. All right.
But good idea though.
Well, I'm just thinking, I want to ease them in without scaring them away.
I ease them in with, it's not a heavy lift. Maybe we're talking like 15 to 16 hours this year.
Yeah.
A lot of it's going to be that sort of high level strategy. So it's going to be talking, it's not going to be like, okay, you're going to have homework and go spend 6 hours working on something. Yeah, it's going to be mostly discussion based, probably. So that shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I can't whip something up for tomorrow morning.
No rush. I just when you get some ideas. I mean, I'm just gonna breach it with them, but as details unfold.
Yeah, spitballing out loud here a little bit, but I wonder if this is like I could send an email to the EMDs that are part of each subregion and kind of do a poll for interest that way.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Because what we really very much are desperate to not do is have it be Maggie and Bill and myself kind of sort of at the regional level, making these decisions without you all and, town representation. Because in the end of the day, you've heard me say this probably many times, what we're doing is, with the towns, not at the towns. And so we really want that representation from you all.
Okay, and that's all we need to say about that, unless anyone has questions. This is a item we'll keep on the agenda, and we'll be in touch about both when your time to participate in the discussion comes up and about whatever the committee comes to, or sub-advisory group comes to, once that's up and running. So you will hear about this again. Okay, hearing none. Let's get my mouse back on here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say I was hoping to get this finalized today, but I have to put this on hold for now. So you should get an update on this soon. So TBD. And yeah, okay, so that's about the end of things. So we do technically have a quorum now. We have one more person join us, so we're good. So Mike, do you want to entertain getting a motion to close the meeting?
You said he had to require things, so I don't know.
Oh, right,
But
okay.
he's still showing up there.
Should we approve the minutes to make them official now that we have the quorum, or is that an
Do we
appropriate?
have a quorum? You go, there it is.
Well, we do now. So
There it is.
we have just enough.
So you want to go back to the minutes?
Just wondering, does
I
that
mean,
make it more official, or are we?
I don't know if public meeting law specifies that, like, if it's time bound or not. So like, we didn't have a quorum at the time. But now we do. That's basically what I put in the minutes for the last meeting.
Okay.
So like, I assume it's fine. I assume that Bill would be telling me otherwise if it wasn't fine. So.
It should be fine as long as, because there wasn't a quorum, as long as, because it's already an agenda item. Now that there's a quorum, you can go back and reopen that up.
Okay. All right, then, yeah, we may as well, I guess, for the agenda and the meeting minutes. We'll just do that again real quick.
All right, so make a motion to, or somebody make a motion to approve the minutes of July 18th as presented.
I'll do it.
Second.
Second.
So it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Minutes for July 18th are approved.
June 18th.
And is there actually room or time to have a discussion about 3 or 4 things that are both EOC and emergency management related?
During this meeting right now?
Yeah.
Clock.
Before we close.
Okay, so I would just ask that, so we're gonna reapprove the meeting agenda, with at least my addendum to remove that last item under 7. So if you could just state what those topics are, and then we approve that, and then we can move on to that discussion.
Right, so I'll one is the Emergency Operations Center training. There's an opportunity. I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring up Red Cross shelter. I'm not sure if the correct term is survey, but if the Red Cross comes and looks at our facility, so it becomes a Red Cross sanctioned, or again, I'm not know the correct terminology, shelter.
Yep. So it's a site survey, you're right.
And the last thing was, I think Billy Jones, correct me if I'm wrong, he just got his EMD certification, and I'm not sure if that was brought up at a previous meeting. But I wanted to say congrats to Bill for that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we had to go back. You want to add something to the agenda? Is that what you said, Maggie?
So those 3 items we will be adding to the agenda, and then the removal of the brainstorm of the yearly schedule of VM activities.
So you want me to ask for? You want me to ask for a motion on
the
that?
agenda with those changes, yes.
Okay, so look at somebody to make a motion to amend the agenda to add those 3 items that I mentioned.
First,
And remove one.
Yep, and remove mine.
And
Yep.
remove, yep. Second,
So it's moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right. I reached out to Massachusetts Emergency Management regarding an intermediate EOC operations course they're holding on the 5th through the 7th of January in Hingham, Massachusetts. I applied and I was accepted, and I don't know if anybody else is interested in that, but I have a point of contact there I can help with. But if it's 3 days long, it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th of January. So I'm not sure if anybody's interested in that, but I'm going to go down and listen to what they have to say, because it's all about the operation of the EOC. I think Billy Lovett and I went down with the other fire department members from Rutland, and there was a 1-day course, I think it was, Billy, that we went to. This is a
Right.
3-day course. So, but that's the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So if you're interested, get a hold of me and I can help you through the process. The Red Cross Shelter Survey, Post 50 American Legion in Castleton is our shelter. And I asked Chief Mantello to reach out to the Red Cross to see if they can get that shelter survey done. And then GJ Garrow at Division of Fire Safety in Rutland, they're reaching out to him too, so they can do their inspection of the facility as winter's coming, so that everything's up to snuff as far as code goes, to use it as a shelter. So GJ can come in and do some things, but we need the Red Cross to do their survey as well. And the last thing is IS 200, 300, 400. I don't know if there's anybody, or a message can be put out if anybody's interested in this area in the sub-region or in the county to do at least a 300 and 400 course. I'm willing to host it in Castleton if there's interest in it, but we have some folks that need to go through it. So I'm not sure if anybody else is in the same boat.
Yeah, at the very least, Mike, I could connect you with Hillary Scott, and she's the state training coordinator for emergency management. So if she heard that there's someone in our region who wants to hold those trainings, that's certainly something that she can put on the schedule and have on the training, the email list there to make it a public thing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you're going to get that Bill Jones guy to come and teach that. So
Well, I knew that. That's why I said it.
why?
But I'll reach out to you, Maggie, and try to connect so we can see if they can do something like that and locally. And the last thing was, I guess I didn't add that to the thing, so I'll shut up. It's not really I had a question, but it's about the EOC grant that they had a couple years ago. I'm not sure if they're going to come out with those again, but I'd love to see that come out again.
My understanding is that was a one-time thing.
I probably thought so, with probably ARPA funding somewhere in the mix, but
Yeah.
so, okay, well, thank you. That was all I had.
hey, Mike.
Yes.
One thing I believe I received an email from Lindsay from the Red Cross talking about like the situation where we had your brush fire over that direction, and her willingness to help us with canteen services or rehab or any of that stuff. And it's a great offer. It might be something that we look at in the future if we were to have something like that again. Reaching out for them.
Lindsay actually has her hand up.
There's her hand.
I was going to say that, yes.
Okay.
Hello. Yes, we would love to canteen. You guys actually, Rutland County is lucky. We actually have some volunteers down there. So I love that about you guys. On the note of the survey, who did you ask to reach out to me? I just want to make sure I'm not missing an email.
Chief Mantello,
it's
he's
me.
in the room there.
It's me, Lindsay, Chief Mantello. So are you the point of contact for that?
Yes, I will put my email in the chat, and what will happen is we'll set up a meeting with my mass care manager, and she has a team, and she'll coordinate with the facility owner, and we can get that site survey scheduled.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you guys.
She the original one?
Yeah.
And
mhm.
any,
So I
any
was
other
about to say, I
discussion?
feel like that's one of the joy, like, this is one of the rare moments where the committee sees a purpose of having us all together in the same room to have these discussions and make these connections outside of a completely virtual setting, so.
Peter, you can add me if you want to have, that site survey. So I can do that stuff for the RC as well. Just to make sure everyone's aware, so the Medical Reserve Corps in Vermont and also the Red Cross in Vermont, we have actually an MOU to partner with each other. So we can't officially partner together. So if there's anything that you're thinking for the Red Cross, we can, let me know and I can come out as well. We can work together.
Yeah, it is a good move, Mike, as far as reaching out to GJ, because before we set up a couple of our shelters, particularly the Elks Club, it had not been inspected for quite a while, and smoke detector, CO, the common things you would think about, but also, like bathing facilities and how hot the temperature of the hot water was, and all those kind of things that really, in an emergency, you're not thinking about, but they do it routinely. And it saved a lot of headaches as we move forward because we needed to get it moving quickly. So.
And
Yeah,
one
thanks.
more note. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was gonna say thanks, Bill, for that comment. And then look at the fire capacity of the building too. We end up trying to stuff too many people into an area that violates the fire codes that way too.
Yes, the one thing I'll add is I've noticed over the years of looking at local emergency management plans is that some of the shelters have like the Red Cross agreement listed on them. And some of them, is it Middletown Springs or one of the other towns, like it was done in like 2000. So that was long enough ago at this point that you might want to think about getting that renewed if that's a thing.
So Lindsay,
Yes.
is there a standard protocol on when they should be surveyed? Is it like every couple of years or is it?
Every 5 years. Every 5 years is a good no. I will let you know, we're going to be reaching out to almost all of you to try to get them all redone.
Okay.
Basically the Red Cross's push is by 2030, National Red Cross wants us to be able to open 4 shelters in the state of Vermont within 2 hours. You can all laugh at that because we laugh at it too. Yeah. So anyways, Rutland happens to have one of the regional shelters, 2 trailers and a truck. So you guys are good to go. But yeah, so
to do it though.
exactly. So every
Yeah.
5 years is what like our standard is to focus on.
So Lindsay, would it help if I reached out to you with a list of what we have for shelters in each town and whether they have a Red Cross certification?
That would be great because then I can cross-check our list that we have and see who needs it fastest.
Okay,
Besides the
perfect.
people that are already, if you're requesting a shelter survey, obviously you're at the top of the list and then we're going to go from there.
Okay, I will make sure to do that.
Sounds great.
And Lindsay, since I've got you real quick, I think that would be if the Red Cross is asking for these shelter updates and we need people to staff them. And that's part of the MRC also does that.
Yeah.
Have you let Heather Rigney know? Because that could be
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. So Heather's been on our mass care meetings with the state. Us and Jason Goslin and Emily Wood, not Emily Wood, she's with the Red Cross. Emily Harris with the state. We've all been coming together monthly about the mass care plan for the whole state. Jason Gosling focusing on, those warming cooling centers for our unhoused population, and Emily and her team focusing on you all and trying to make sure you guys are good to go. So yes, Heather is privy to all of that, and we'll actually be reaching out to you guys more soon. We're trying to get our volunteers up to date on their trainings and double check who needs what and trying to recruit. And then we're going to be working directly with you guys and our other partners to do these shelters as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because we're going to start in the next quarter our 2026 training calendar. So this is good to know. So if we can partner that.
And on that note, I'll travel to any one of you. All I need is an 8 people minimum to do shelter fundamentals training. So if you guys can get me a space and more than 8 people, I can come and train any of you.
I believe we had one in Castleton about 2 years ago, maybe?
Yep, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful
Actually,
turnout.
That'd be perfect, because, so here, the Rutland City Police Department and their Project Vision Center, they actually just did a remodel, so they have a really amazing space, that can fit up to 40 people, and, they're looking to use it more, so I can.
That would be
certainly
wonderful.
Talk with them about doing it there too as well.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Okay.
All right, love it. Love the organic relationship building here. Okay, so now I think we're good to start closing out the meeting unless there's any other comments. Last call for comments, questions, concerns, thoughts. Ready to get out of here at 6:30. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. There's no discussion on this one, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
All right.
Hey, folks.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Maggie.
See you December 10th. Put it in your calendars.
I'll see you October.